Thank you so much for joining me live here today in Tarot Card Success, Tarot Mastery. I'm very excited to share with you our first live seminar for 2022. 2022. We have got so many exciting new things coming for this group, your private study group. But also, if you're not in the Facebook group, lots of private little bonuses that I'm going to be chucking in this year to improve your experience as a beginning or even a seasonal tarot reader. I've even got some extra bonuses for those of you who are hoping to start a business or who are looking at how to improve your situation when you are in social media groups and you're trying to get your reach expanded. So I've got lots of access for tips like that. So before I get started, I'd just like to see that everything's working. I just like to check in. Those of you who haven't been with me before and done these, I just need to sometimes check that all the technology is working. So if you are joining me live, can you please pop in your name and just let me know where you're from and how you're going, and then I can just start talking about what we're going to talk about today. So for those of you who haven't done these before, the way I like to do them is I share a selection of what I consider are probably like the best questions that have been asked this month, or sometimes they're the questions that have stumped me the most in the group or in the Udemy course, and I like to share with you and say, hey, this is how you can use these tips to improve your readings. And if you'd like to ask me any questions, then I'm very, very happy to answer those as we get towards the end. Hello, Marcy from New York. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for letting me know you can hear me and see me and everything is working. So I'm going to start tip off. First thing I'm going to start talking about is what we're going to cover today. So today, the main topics that I'm going to be focused on are being able to answer questions like, what will my married life look like when I'm, what will my married life look like? So that's coming from someone who is perhaps single and maybe they're young and they're not even thinking of getting married for another 10 years, but how to answer those questions with the tarot. I'm also going to be exploring questions that people can often get asked around black magic and why negative things happening to me and how to answer those kind of questions. We're also going to be answering questions around pregnancy and can you give a pregnant lady a reading and what are the problems and what are the pros and cons about this and how to get good readings with pregnancy readings. We're going to also be looking at answering the questions around picking extra cards and do you always have to do it and how to do it best, as well as I'm going to talk about these new resources that I am going to be adding into the group for people, but also those of you who are not in the group and how you can access them. So thank you, Laura. Hello, Connie. Hello, Shabita. Hello, everyone. It's so wonderful to have you here. So before I get started, I would just like to have a really heartfelt thanks and gratitude to anyone who has taken the time in the last month or in the last few months to give a review of Tarot Card Success. It always makes my life so much better and I get so much motivation and I get so excited when I see these reviews, and it also really helps people who are also looking for similar courses like this. So thank you in particular to Gujan Beria, Dylan Mann, Rachel Engelstein, Audrey Williams and Parveen Sheikh, just some of the wonderful people who took their time to write a few comments on Udemy in the review section about what the course has done for them and how they've enjoyed it. So thank you so much for that. Hello, Shabita. It's so lovely to have you here. And what I'm going to do, so as I said, if you've got questions for me, anything you'd like to ask me about the tarot, please add them in here and I will get to them at the end, or you can save them to the end. So let's get started with the very first question. So Namrata asked this question about, she said she was getting clients coming in that were asking her questions like, what will my job look like? And this was someone who's a student, so maybe they're 5 years away from graduating, like what will my first job look like? And questions like, how will my married life look like? And that's coming from someone maybe who's 23 and single and not intending to get married for a much longer period of time. Now, keep in mind, and I do talk about this a bit in Tarot Card Success, the tarot really isn't designed to answer questions that are 5 or 10 years down the track. And that's because our lives change so much. And for me, these kind of questions are much more for me, like what I would call psychic questions. So questions that would come from tuning into your clairvoyance and your spirit guides, or, and communicating and asking questions like that. So that's the stuff I teach in how to be psychic and psychic readings intermediate level, like how to strengthen your clairvoyance to get those kind of answers. And you might say, well, Sal, I went to a tarot reader and they told me the answers to those questions. That tarot reader is most probably likely using the tarot but bringing in psychic information and messages from guides, or tuning into your energy and your aura, or using some other kind of psychic gift. So I don't actually teach that in Tarot Card Success. I teach that in How to Be Psychic and Psychic Readings at intermediate level. But I will also talk about how you can answer those questions and why those questions can be so problematic. First of all, it's really important to remember that the modern founders of tarot, so Aleister Crowley and Arthur Ryder, Arthur Rate, didn't actually intend the tarot to be used for asking questions like, what will my marriage be like if it's 10 years away? Like, they weren't really wanting it to be used for those kind of fortune-telling carnival questions. And over the years, I know I've struggled with this, because sometimes clients will ask you questions like this and you're like, how am I supposed to answer that? First of all, start by thinking, and I do teach this a lot more in the Love Readings course, the course that comes after this tarot course, and the higher level How to Give Careers and How to Give Life Purpose Readings course, about how to get that more specific timing when it's a long, long, long away. And something that's really important to understand the psychology of as a reader is getting used to being able to encourage your clients to reframe their questions differently. So the reason what my marriage will look like when you're single and you're nowhere near getting married is not a great question to ask the tarot, is because you change so much, and you might even decide in 10 years' time you don't want to get married. So the tarot doesn't have really anywhere to go with that kind of question. Also, the question, what will it be like, is a little bit subjective. So what I mean by that is your idea of what a marriage might be like might be different to what the tarot card gives you like the answer to. Like, most people recognize, especially as they mature, that marriages have their ups and downs. And just because you got a negative question about a future marriage doesn't mean that marriage is doomed. Most marriages go through negative things, and most marriages will go through the tower. Most marriages go through death. Most marriages will go through those things that can be seen as negative tarot cards. So giving someone who's 23 a reading that's going to start showing all this negative stuff is really going to probably frighten them, and also not really prepare them, because they're going to be wanting to either avoid marriage, or say, for example, you did a reading that showed that there was going to be maybe some infidelity or some abuse or lots and lots of fights and arguments. Can you imagine like how it would feel when you're walking down the aisle 10 years later and you're thinking about that reading and thinking about how that will impact upon you? And for me, it's just not helpful. What is helpful is if you have a 23-year-old who wants to know what their marriage is going to be like and they're not currently engaged or intending to get married right now, go to them and say, okay, well, let's look at what kind of relationship you want. Let's focus on getting a relationship that you want and that could possibly lead to marriage. What do we need to know about that? What do I need to know about finding a relationship that I'm going to be happy in? Because as I said, it's relationships can be such a roller coaster. And as I said, I explore this a lot in the Love Readings course. So I do recommend doing that if you're interested in doing more complicated love questions. But being able to go, okay, well, yes, there's a bit of a rocky part here, but then it's going to get better. How can you change that? How can you change your future? Your future is not set in stone. And just because a tarot reader when you're 23 tells you you're going to have an absolutely abysmal, awful marriage full of infidelity when you get married when you're 34, doesn't mean that's going to happen. That could be some of your belief systems coming in. You can change that path. And that's why I don't like answering questions like, what will my life be like in 10 years? Because you're going to evolve and change. And I'm going to use myself as an example for this. So for years and years and years, I got readings when I was younger, and all of those, and I often would ask, how many children am I going to have? And every time someone would say, 2 or 3, they'd see children. One person once said 1, but overwhelmingly I got 2 children that I was going to have. Now, at the time, I wanted 2 children. That was something I wanted. And over the years, my journey changed, and I got to the stage in my early 40s where I started wondering if I did want to have children, and my husband and I tried and it didn't happen, and we had to make the IVF decision, and we were just questioning it, and then we went through this whole spiritual journey with it. Now, if I'd been told that when I was 22, that, oh, you're going to get to this age, your mid 40s, and you might make a decision not to have children, I probably would have been absolutely gutted, because I really wanted to have children back then. Like, I wanted to know that I was going to have them. And the journey I made and the person I became and how I changed in my life was so radically different that I don't think a psychic could have seen that at 22, because I made so many different decisions. So that's why it's really good to get comfortable practicing rephrasing questions for people. But also keep in mind, if you're a beginner and you're only learning to practice readings, please don't start with questions like, what will my marriage be like in 10 years' time? Or what will my first job be like if I'm a student and I'm not going to be graduating for 4 years? Because they're really advanced questions. So if you start feeling like you want to do those kind of questions, then please do the love readings course, or someone else's love readings course if you don't want to do mine, or the career and life purpose about, you know, how to see what your career journey is going to be like on a higher level, how to get more specific timing with careers and life purpose. But with this course, when you're still starting out, try to just say things like, what do I need to know about my career in the next 12 months? What do I need to know about getting married in the next 12 months? Or what do I need to know about my relationships in the next 12 months? And that way, you'll learn to build up your confidence with recognizing and seeing patterns, but also how the cards fit together that will be relevant now. Because obviously, you might get some extra angel or spirit guide guidance that says, yeah, I feel like maybe you'll get married twice, and maybe your first marriage won't work out, but you'll be really happy in your second marriage. But again, you've got to be a bit cautious with that one, because you don't want people going into their marriage thinking, oh, well, it's not going to work out. A clairvoyant told me that I'm going to have a better second marriage, so I don't even need to try in this marriage. Because sometimes we need to learn these lessons that help us become a better husband or a better wife and have better marriages. So it goes beyond being able to just go, okay, the tarot can answer every single question in the world, because it actually can't. It's actually not designed to ask, like, what will this be like? But you can change the question by saying, okay, how can I get the best marriage possible? Like, what do I need to do? Or how will the path unfold in the next 2 years towards me getting married? Like, that's an okay question to ask. So I hope that's helped those of you who have ever gotten those kind of questions where they're trying to predict it way into the future. Like, there's no point doing a Celtic cross or a horseshoe spread on something that is an event that is 5 years away, and they know that it's 5 years away. Like, it's different if they're not sure if they're going to get married in the next few years and maybe they want to get married. You can do a reading then. But if it's something that they know is many, many, many years away, they've got no intention of doing it now, then it might be best to start doing some energy work, looking at clairvoyant skills, looking at tuning in with their energy. But even then, I still exercise caution, because I don't want people, as I said, like, imagine getting a reading saying, your marriage, you're getting married in 10 years, it's going to be full of abuse and this and that, and you're going to be miserable and unhappy. Like, for me, if I'd gotten that reading when I was 23, I probably would have sworn off marriage forever. Or I would have probably got very angry at the person giving me the reading and badmouthed them all over town, going, that was the worst, I felt so horrible, and now I'm depressed, So just take a moment to think about that. It can be confusing when you're starting, but think about, how can I phrase the question that's most going to help the client now, rather than focusing on things that might be a little bit more obscure and not known, and maybe the client needs to go on a spiritual journey. Now, for those of you who are still saying, well, I don't care what you say, Sal, I still want to do those kind of readings, again, that's totally fine, and you're thinking, I don't want to do your love course, I just want to do those readings now, then you could maybe do a 3-card reading and say something like, okay, what will my marriage be like? Beginning of the marriage, middle of the marriage, later on in the marriage, and do that. So you could do something that kind of basic, or what kind of person will I marry? You could draw that from the courts, basically, and do that. But again, just be aware that for me, readings need to give your client something to work with. So I try to encourage as much in those higher level courses. Yes, there's a degree of fortune telling, but underlying that fortune telling has to be something your client can go away and change if it's a bad card. Because you just don't want to tell your clients, like, I'm sorry, your whole life's going to be awful. Like, I don't even know why you bother living. You can't do that. You've got to give your clients tools to change and tools to improve and tools to attract what it is they want and need. And the tarot can do that for them, but it might be just about rephrasing the question a bit. So I hope that's helped anyone who's ever been hit with that question or ever thought themselves they've tried to use the tarot to predict an event 10 years away and got a bit confused. I hope that's helped. So my next question comes from Yukta, who has asked, she said lately she's been getting a lot of clients who are asking about black magic and asking, has black magic been put on me? Why are negative things always happening to me? And the first thing I'll say about black magic, I talk about this a lot more in How to Be Psychic, but please be careful on just writing off everything negative happening to you as being black magic and thinking someone's put a bad spell on you. For me, I'm very cautious about, I talk about psychic attacks and people psychic attacking you, which does happen. As I said, I talk about that a lot in How to Be Psychic, but you can protect yourself from that. You can do psychic protection and protect yourself. Sometimes, and also the other thing I'd say is sometimes a lot of negative things are happening to us, and it's not bad juju and it's not because someone's cursed us, but it's because we've got negative beliefs. So if you're having, like, say, every time you go for a job there's a bad experience at the interview, you might have beliefs that, I don't do well at interviews, or I'm never going to get a good job, and those beliefs may be sabotaging you. So you just may need to do more healing and more belief work. That might be a better path than thinking someone's cursed me with black magic. Now, if you, as I said, and often for me, picking up on dark energy or cursing or anything like that on clients usually comes as something where I tune into their energy and I can physically see either someone stabbing them in the back, or I can see them being attacked, or I can see an animal around them. Animals will often quite symbolize things like that, that's kind of fiercely protective of their energy, which suggests maybe they're being attacked. And for me, again, I often suggest doing some clearing and spiritual work with that and calling in your guides to help you clear that. But with that stuff, for me, in the tarot, that yes, that could show up as the devil. It could show up as the Seven of Swords. It could show up as the Nine of Swords or the Ten of Swords, definitely. But just because those cards show up doesn't mean that it is always black magic. Like, if you suspect something like that's going on, then maybe draw extra cards to say, is this happening, yes or no? But that's how I would see cards showing up as that. But as I said, I would tend to more tune into their energy to try to find out where this is coming from. Is this just their belief system? Is this another level, rather than necessarily the tarot revealing black magic? So that's just me personally. I would go into a more psychic-y, channel-y question thing first, or I would look for those cards, the devil. I would look for the cards that indicate interference, like the Seven of Swords. So someone who's maybe jealous of you, and that's a classic Seven of Swords card. Or those, the Ten of Swords, which is often feeling like you've been stabbed in the back, or the Nine of Swords, where something's really doing your head in. So I would look for those. The Moon could be another one, like really deep unconscious fears coming through. That could be another one, like a shadow card. But that's how they would show up for me. But again, I'm more likely in a reading not to do a tarot reading on black magic. I'm more likely to go in and tune in and see how things are. So I hope that's helped anyone that's had those. Now, something else I said to Yukta, if you find you are getting a lot of people coming to you asking about black magic, or asking about, have I been cursed, or negativity, you might need to do a bit of work on yourself, because it is highly unusual to get those kind of readings. And if you do, it might be that you've got some negative energy that's attracting those people, or maybe you believe you're being cursed, or something's going on in your world where you're not attracting the right kind of client. So for me, if that's happening to you, I do have a course called Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT Tapping that helps you clear away the energy that's attracting negative clients, and as well as a past life course. Like, maybe you've had a past life where there was black magic and there was that kind of thing involved, and you're now attracting it in this life. So you want to clear that karmic vows and those curses and contracts. So I would look at doing one of those courses, or working with a spiritual healer if it's happening to you a lot, just so that you no longer attract that kind of energy. Now Seema asks, actually, no, I might talk about the picking the extra cards now. And I'm just going to say hello to Lisa and Maestro and is it La Liz? Hello to Liz and hello Jeanette. Thank you so much for coming, guys. So I hope that's resonating with anyone that's watching this. If you're watching this on the replay, then do make sure you subscribe so then you can get all these, like all my back editions of these seminars, but you also get new ones. If you're live with me and something I say really resonates with me, you just do the love heart, just so that I know that what I'm saying is resonating and I can give you more of it. So I'm going to move on to picking a cards now because I know people can get a bit confused by this. So in Tarot Card Success, I talk about if you get too many major arcana cards, then pick an extra card. Now that's only if in a 7-card reading you get 5 major arcana cards. Like I wouldn't do that if you only get 1 or 2. And same with the court cards. Like with the thing where you pick an extra card with the court cards to verify if it's a person or a situation, only do that if you're not sure. Like if it's really blindingly obvious that it is a person, then you don't need to pick extra cards. Or if it's really obvious that it's a negative thing because it might be in a blocks position, like in the Celtic cross, what's blocking you, then you don't need to pick an extra card for that because you'll already know. Or if intuitively you can just feel like, I feel like this is a person, or actually no, I feel this is a situation, or I feel like it's something you need to be doing more of. Like say for example, someone was asking, why do I keep failing in my jobs? And they got a King of Wands, then I would usually take that to mean most of the time that it's because you're not being assertive enough, or you're not being a leader enough, and you're not being fiery enough. So those kind of things that, they can be quite obvious sometimes. Occasionally, yes, it might be a person that's impacting, like maybe you've got a strong mother or father figure that's dominating you and that's making you feel a little bit like you don't have that confidence. That would usually show up in the environment section. But generally, I would say in those kind of questions that it's probably more likely to be a personality you need to embrace. And if I'm doubting that, if I'm wobbling a bit, then I do the card verification. So you don't need to always do it, only if it's like I'm not really sure where this sits with that. Now, someone mentioned also about picking an extra card to get more clarity and how that affects the past and the present. So for me, I pick them for more clarity. If it's like if say example I get a past card and I don't understand what it means and I pick another card for more clarity, then yes, that applies to that past position. It doesn't apply for positions going forward. I hope that makes a bit of sense. So now Seema has asked about, is it okay to give readings to people who are pregnant, to women who are pregnant? Now, yeah, absolutely. Like that, for me, I've never had a problem with giving readings to women who are pregnant. Energy work can be a bit different, like those kind of psychic readings I was talking about earlier. You might want to be a bit warier for that if you're bringing in energy and healing, because that can affect it on a different level. I would ask your client to go see a doctor and make sure that's okay first. You don't want to be doing anything that could be negatively impacting on their stress levels or the baby. Now, the only reason I would, if you're a beginner especially, if you have a pregnant lady come to see you and they want to ask you questions about the baby, like about the gender of the baby, or is it going to be a successful pregnancy, please avoid these kind of questions if you are a beginner. Like I created a whole separate course that goes for 5 or 6 hours called Master Health Readings and Psychic Wellness, specifically because of these kind of health readings that impact upon your health are much better for more experienced people who have finished and graduated from this course, and because there's so much more complexity with health readings, and you really do need to understand that you're not a doctor, and it's really sometimes not okay to give people health advice, especially for chronic health conditions like cancer or really chronic things that require operations, or fertility readings where you could severely traumatize your client. It is better to have a bit more study experience under your belt. That's why I created that course. And I have a whole section on there on fertility readings. So if you are thinking of doing readings where you're asking about the gender or the success of a pregnancy or anything about a pregnancy, then I do recommend doing the Master Health Readings course, because that is a lot more advanced, and it gives you the psychology and how to manage it and how to make sure that you are not doing anything legally that is a real problem for your client when it comes to pregnancy readings. But if it's just a woman who's pregnant, maybe they've come to ask you about their career or something totally different, then that's totally fine. Like that's, that there's not a problem with that at all for me. So I think that is everything that has been asked in the group that I have found really exciting, and I hope that's helped some of you who have had similar questions or similar challenges or problems when it comes to tarot readings. Please don't, and if you're new to this, please don't worry. You know, as I said, tarot is such a beautiful, fascinating craft, and it does take time to learn, and there are stumbles along the way, and you can sometimes get more difficult questions. So there, as I said, there are solutions, there are higher level courses you can do, but often too, when you're practicing more and more, you will tap into a lot of what these answers are, and sometimes you might just need to get your clients to rephrase their questions. So I'm just going to get to answering your questions, but before I do, I'm very excited to announce that I have a new masterclass and some new resources. I have a whole new page on my website. It was meant to be coming out today. It was actually meant to be coming out last year, but I had some medical issues of my own, as some of you may know. But it is going to be out by this time next week. I'm very excited about it because it's basically a much bigger video on how to get the most out of your Facebook group. I will be uploading it into your Udemy videos, but it's also got access to a free 1-hour masterclass on how to get 5-star reviews and testimonials. So some of you may know that recently I did have to remove the option from our Facebook group about posting free readings in offer for reviews on Facebook and social media likes, but I wanted to offer you an alternative and a solution on how to get 5-star reviews without doing it in this group, because it was causing a lot of problems, and there is a whole psychology and complexity behind why people don't leave reviews, and I wanted to help you overcome that and give you suggestions about how you can get the best reviews and what to do when someone doesn't leave a review. So that's going to be, I'm going to put a link in that up the top of this, and if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link on that too. It will be, as I said, it will be hopefully out. The video's done. I'm just waiting for my web designer to upload it to my Facebook, my website page. So it will be available in the next week, which means by the 4th of February 2022, it will be available for you. So I'm very excited about that for you guys. I hope that's going to help a lot of you who are thinking about building up a business or trying to get some testimonials and reviews and how to best get them within the guidelines of this group, but also how to get them outside of this group, like other ways to get them as well. It will also have the new updated feedback and exchange templates that you can use in this group as well, and they'll all be in one spot for you. So I'll be giving access to that. Now, before I go on, I'm also going to have a new feature every time I do one of these seminars, and that is I'm going to be doing what I'm calling the deal of the month. And the reason I'm doing that is because some of you might know every month I do a special deal through Udemy where I send out a discount to one of my courses, and the benefits of doing this course and how it can improve your psychic or how it can improve your tarot readings, or if you want to grow a business, how to grow a business, or if you've got blocks, how to shift blocks so that you connect more to your cards and get more accurate messages. And people over the years have said to me, oh, Sal, I don't have that turned on in my educational announcements or my promotional announcements on Udemy because I don't want to get lots and lots of promotions from different instructors, which is totally understandable. So I thought what I would do is when I do these seminars from now on, I'll just at the very end let you know about what I'm going to be selling on sale this month and how it can help you. So what I'm going to be selling and going through and sending out in my email list this month is the Love Readings, Give Psychic Love Readings with Ease course. So this course can help you with those more complicated love questions, like when will I get married, and what does he think of me, and is he or she my soulmate. And it's also got LGBTQ readings, and it's also got readings if you're choosing between multiple partners, and it also helps you with readings on infidelity and cheating, as well as past lives and questions like will we get back together. So it's a very intensive 6 or 7 hour course that's focused on those much higher level love readings and more complicated ones that you can get, learning how to do them with tarot cards, and it also has some sections on oracle cards as well for those of you who are interested in oracle cards. So that course I'm going to pop, better late than never, hello Francine. So I'm going to pop a link to that in here. If you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description, and it'll be in the post up here too for those of you who want to get that. That is on sale this month for $13.99 US, so that's a discount of over 75% off. So I'll pop that up here too. Now, it's also got dozens and dozens of sample readings of real life clients and how to answer those questions like will we get back together, and those kind of questions that you can get asked a lot. So, if you've got questions for me, pop them here below. Okay. So, Sabadaza, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Sal, I was once asked to do a reading where they didn't want to ask me the question they had in mind. They expected me to do the reading without a question and expected the cards to guide them. I kindly denied because as a novice reader, I needed to hear the question to be able to tune in. It's been the only time I've denied a request. Did I do okay? Yes, absolutely. And I actually talk about this a lot in my those higher level courses, the love readings course and the career readings course too, about how to get your clients if they're stubbornly saying no, I don't want to ask a question. And you can say to them, that's fine. You can give me the money and I can give you a reading having no idea what it is you want the answer to. But just so you know, you might get a reading that might not answer what you want to know. And that is up to you. And yes, I will often say to people, look, I'm not going to read for you unless you give me a question, because I don't want to waste your time and money. It's much better, and sometimes that's why general question, I always say to people, what is it you most want me to help you with today? And if they say, oh, just give me a general reading, I will go, okay, and I'll give them a general reading. But then sometimes at the end they might go in the last 2 minutes, as I say, their whole focus, it comes up that there's a lot changing in their job this year and they're going to get a new job. And at the very end, they go, oh, well, can't you, I want to know if I'm going to get married next year. And it's like, well, that's what you should have really asked me at the beginning. That's another reading. Let's do 2 or 3 cards to ask about marriage and see if there's some positive stuff coming up. And then you might do 2 or 3 if you've only got 5 minutes left. And then say, look, if you want a deeper reading, you might need to come back. But that's why I discourage people from doing a general reading. You can do a general reading and then if things come out, expand on it. But if they're saying, no, I don't want to ask any questions at all, or there's nothing I really would need to know, just warn them. Say, okay, but just know it might be a little bit vague or it might be focusing on things you're not interested on right now. So just keep that in mind. It is better to give a more specific question. So yes, you did do okay, honey. Well done for refusing, because it's hard to give a reading when someone hasn't got anything in mind that they want answered. And I often find, for me, I'm a little bit skeptical of those readings, because I find with people, it's like, why are you even getting a reading? Like, if you don't need help, then the people that come to you just because they want to test you out, I don't do those kind of readings. I say to people, look, you're wasting your time and money. I don't want to waste your time and money, and I don't want to waste my time. I'm probably not the right reader for you. So that's how you can say if someone asks you that question. Bob, any tips about doing readings lives on Facebook when you're not accustomed to being on camera? Yes. Okay. So the first thing I would do, Rob, is I would get I talk about this in my advanced tarot program. I have a psychic business training program about how to do Facebook lives and how to do things like that. But I'll give you a couple of tips now. What you can do is I set up a fake, well, not a fake, I just set up a pretend Facebook page, and like one that no one's going to hear about or like, and I actually practice there. And it's good to have, so for me, what I do, as you can see here, I just have a list of 3 or 4 things I'm going to talk about. And then if you're not used to it, do a practice run. So do a little practice run in your pretend group and then go live in your real group or your real page. And that way you can just sort of watch what you're doing. And look, it's okay to make mistakes. That's one thing I love about Facebook Lives is I make mistakes. You've probably seen me today make about 10 mistakes, and it's fine. People are more forgiving of making mistakes when you're live. When I'm doing my Udemy videos, oh my goodness, a video that takes me 20 minutes will be 3 hours of my time, because I'll be cutting and pasting and editing and reshooting. But one of these, you can be a lot more relaxed, and people will you can laugh off mistakes totally. And I've had all sorts of mistakes over the years. I've had things happen where suddenly I've realized that my sound isn't on. I've broadcast into the wrong group and had people that I went to high school with going, hi Sal, nice to see you. Why are you talking about this? And so Facebook Lives, it's for me, crystals are good. I have calming crystals that I use before I go on. Blue ones are fantastic. Practice do a little practice run in a fake one. Just set up a little fake one and do a practice run that you can just delete it when you feel confident enough. And as I said, just have a list of a couple of things that you're going to talk about and have it next to you. So that's how I would do it with Facebook Live readings. I would do it like that. But also clear your energy, massively clear your energy, so you're only attracting good people that you can read for. So spend about 15 minutes before just tuning in with your guides, asking them to make sure only people you can help and heal come to your Facebook Live readings. I hope that's helped, Bob. Now, has anyone else, and always look in, that's another one, look into the webcam camera or the little dot. That's something I learned early on. Like, try not to look around, that's because then you look a bit shifty and shady. Just always try to look straight ahead. Okay. Has anyone else got any questions? Oh, here we go. No, Nui, I haven't practiced for a long time due to family issues. Will it affect my readings or intuition? Look, it can, definitely. Like, you can get a bit rusty. Like, I can go a few months without doing readings for people because I'm not doing readings right now, and then I might run a competition where I do a reading, and then I'm like, whoa, I better get, so I'll practice a bit beforehand. So if it's been a while, practice a bit on yourself beforehand, or even do a couple of pretend practice clients to tune in your energy with your cards again, and then maybe get back into it, and maybe spend a bit extra time doing some preparation with your psychic protection rituals and meditating before you go back onto it. Sorry, not a fake, Star, it's not a fake, sorry, that's a wrong, sorry, I answered that wrong. Star's asking, how do I do a fake Facebook Live? No, what you do is you set up a page from how you'd normally set up a normal business page, and it's very highly unlikely anyone's going to see it, is what I mean, because the algorithms are so weak. So you just set it up and have it, it's not going to be private, you have to publish it to be able to see it, but as soon as you finish the Facebook Live and you've tested it and checked yourself out, then you can delete it. And so for me, I've got one, it's actually on my thing, I think it's called Angel Healings Medicine or something, and no one ever goes to it because I don't advertise it or I don't do anything on it except these pretend practice ones, and then I just delete them afterwards. So it's got no content on it, so it won't show up in the Facebook algorithm. Hope that helps. Deidre, with the lives, is it okay to do those when the camera just points at the cards and not you? Yeah, look, I don't have a problem with that. And some of you who have done my higher level courses, my intermediate level courses, you'll see that all the readings I do are just pointed at the cards. They're not pointed at me. I feel more comfortable doing that way. Sometimes I'll do, when I'm in a Facebook Live, I'll pull one out, but really to get the best energy for me, I'm actually better if I focus on the cards, unless I'm reading live one-on-one for someone. Then I will draw the cards, I'll talk to them like this, I'll pick it out, I'll engage like that when I'm doing a Zoom session with them. But when doing a big one for a lot of people, I think there's no problem having the focus, like maybe introduce yourself and shift it if you want, but I do all my sample readings in the love readings course and the careers readings course and the health readings course focused with the camera on the cards. I just feel it takes the energy off me worrying about what I look like on camera. So yes, yeah, so it's like a practice Facebook Live, Deidre asked. Yes. Thank you, Nui. So I hope that's helped anyone. Now, does anyone have any other questions? I am going to be here for the next couple of minutes. If you're looking for any other questions, I will pop that link in. Oh, I shall do that later, the love readings link. But if you have any other questions around the tarot, I'm very happy to answer them. And as I said, I'm very excited about this new masterclass, this free resource for you guys on how to get reviews, how to get more social media reach. That's going to be coming out in the next 7 days, maybe even earlier. My web designer might have done it by now. I sent it all off this morning. Super excited about that. I'm hoping to release 3 new Udemy courses this year. As some of you know, I did have some medical issues with my jaw last year and some dental surgery I had to get done, which meant that I'm still getting done, which meant that I couldn't do and release any new Udemy courses last year. It was a bit disappointing. I'm hoping this year I'll be able to release 3, fingers crossed, but I have just finished this new resource for you that's a free one. It's not going to be a course, it's just a free 1-hour masterclass on how to build up your business using reviews and testimonials. So it comes from some of my tips. Those of you who don't know, I have an advanced tarot program that's on the Psychic Healing Academy that comes with like business mentoring from me and business stuff, and it's just a couple of tips that I've taken from that and expanded into using within these live Facebook groups. Will you be pulling a few cards and sharing interpretations? No, I haven't planned to do that today. I do that occasionally, Rosemary, but I usually set these out as, more as just answering questions that come from the course. But if you're looking for more of my cards and sharing interpretations, I do that more in my higher level courses. So my career readings course that's on Udemy, my love readings course, and my health readings course. I don't tend to do that in these. I tend to just answer questions. But maybe next time I might do that. definitely. But I don't do psychic readings for people on Facebook Live. You might say, oh, Sal, why not? To be very honest, and I talk about this, as I said, in some of my other courses, I am not a fan of doing public readings for lots and lots of different people. I do them on my pick a card thing on what is it called, on my Sal Jade Clairvoyant Healer page, my Facebook business page. So you can find them there. If you go and like my page, you'll see that I do these every week. I haven't started them this year, but I will do 3 tarot cards, and I get you to pick a card, and I will interpret them as a whole thing. But I don't tend to do Facebook Lives where I do that. That's just my personal preference. Some people love doing them. I'm not a big fan of tuning into a whole bunch of people's energy while I'm talking and doing it like that. It doesn't work for me. It works for others. It's for some reason I prefer to just do it, as I mentioned to someone before, where I actually just focus on the cards and do them as like sample readings like that, and do that. Francine, the love readings is an amazing class. Thank you. I did love creating it. It's one of my favorite courses. So I hope that's helped everyone. And if anyone has any further questions, please pop them in. Samantha, sorry if you talked about this already. Which cards would indicate that someone has put some kind of sorcery on you? Yes, I have talked about it, sweetie. So if you just go back to the beginning, rather than repeat it for everyone, it's probably about, I reckon about, maybe 5 minutes in, I start talking about black magic and sorcery. Karmic patterns from this life and past lives would be definitely justice and the Wheel of Fortune. There are more. As I said, I talk about past lives and relationships in the love readings course. Like, I have a whole module on how to know if someone's part of your past life and what cards will indicate that. So I recommend doing that for that. But yeah, go back into this one for looking at sorcery and black magic and that kind of thing. It's probably about 5 to 10 minutes in. It's the second question that I answer. Thank you, Samantha. Has anyone got any other questions? If they have, I'm happy to answer them. If you're not joining me live, if you're not sure if you're live, just check what the time is on your time zone and put #replay. I will come back in on Monday and answer those for you. But if you're on YouTube, pop them in there as well. And as I said, if you're watching the replay on YouTube, just hit the subscribe so that you can get this every month. And also, you can also get all my back editions. I've got like dozens and dozens for the last 4 years of live tarot seminars that I've done in this group. And if you're like, well, I don't want to go through all of them, just click on the description and you can actually see what questions I answer. So the way I have in this one as well, like I've answered certain questions. Thank you, my love, so much for joining me, and happy 2022. I hope all of you have an amazing time in this group. And as I said, I'm so happy to help you. If you need questions answered on the Udemy board, just go to the Q&A board and keep posting your beautiful spreads and getting feedback from the community. I've seen so many people have been doing it already this year. It's such a great way to learn, and I'm so excited to see how many people have been improving their tarot readings doing this. Thank you so much, guys, and have a beautiful weekend. For those of you who are in Australia or India and it's Friday, and for those of you it's Thursday night, I hope you also have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for joining me.